salary and ERE. It does cover a fair share of it, about 3/4 of it. And again, we just feel like this has been mutually beneficial and a great partnership, and we'd recommend continuing this agreement with Fort Thomas Schools.
Any discussion?
It's a great benefit for the county. I think it's a very good deal.
Yeah, Rose does an amazing job. She's a great officer and been with us for a long time, so
Yep.
thankful to have her.
And very well liked and respected, and the people in especially Native Americans feel comfortable with her efforts. I did have a question, possibly for Jeff or Sheriff, and that is tomorrow afternoon is the ribbon cutting for the Mount Turnbull Academy. They'll be moving, I believe, their elementary school over there, and didn't know if our school resource officer was going to have any would be spending time at Mount Turnbull, or whether she was strictly still going to be in out of Fort Thomas, and Mount Turnbull Academies is in Bylas on the reservation.
She assists them. The reservation has an SRO officer as well, and they work pretty well.
Okay, so she'll have she'll spend some time there at Mount Turnbull. Okay, very good. Thanks. I just wanted to know if she was going to lose half of her students. Okay, if no more discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead to approve the renewed contract with Fort Thomas Schools for the continuation of providing Graham County Deputy for School Resource Officer.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That is approved. Next is from our county manager. We met with the Forest Service at our last meeting. They have a resource advisory committee for what do they go? I guess it's it's for their not their transportation, but for their recreation program, and their funds that have accumulated, and they currently we received a suggestion that we transfer the person who's going to be designated, or persons from the Apache Sitgreaves and up north to the Southern Arizona, the Resource Advisory Committee, and that will, they suggested that it'll better service, and I think that we've taken a look at it. I believe that it will better service, and I'll let Dustin present the rest of this.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and thank you for laying that groundwork, Mr. Chairman. You've appropriately laid it out. As you said, we met with the Forest Service just 2 weeks ago, and this was their suggestion. These funds come from Secure Rural Schools, and that funding is going to sound familiar to all of us. This portion of the funding is not the same portion that we're familiar with. This portion comes out before we ever see it. So part of the way these funds work is the Forest Service keeps a portion of the Secure Rural Schools before they hit the counties, and those funds are supposed to go into forest service projects. And the funds that were allocated to Graham County for these Forest Service projects, we learned a couple weeks ago that they've just been sitting in a fund and not utilized. Graham County belonged to the Eastern Arizona Resource Advisory Committee, or the Eastern Arizona RAC, as they call it. And the Forest Service's recommendation was to move us to the Southern Arizona RAC, which would make our funds available to be used basically in the forests that are on Graham County. So it could be used for Mount Graham projects and other things that we've had discussions with for a while, and more notably, Chairman David has sat on one of those racks, and a lot of that money has never moved. So we're hoping by making this request through this letter to the Forest Service that they'll move our funds from the Eastern RAC to the Southern RAC, which would effectively let those funds be used on projects within Graham County rather than up in Apache, Greenlee, and Navajo.
Well presented. So there's a resolution. It's page, a little over a page long, but we would enter that into the record. Any discussion or questions on that?
Certainly makes sense for us to move over there where we can get access to that funding instead of
Vice.
just sitting there.
Thanks, Vice Chairman. Anything else? Okay. So we have the resolution, and those who are interested are certainly welcome either online. It's almost a formality. We've been welcomed into that southern rack, so we'd like to make that move, and this formalizes it. I'll accept a motion for either approval or disapproval of the letter of support.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve a letter of support transferring Graham County from the Eastern Arizona Resource Advisory Committee to the Southern Arizona Resource Advisory Committee.
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes. Next, we have a guest, Kat Sticklin, who is a devoted volunteer for the American Legion Auxiliary, and she is here to present. This is a program we support, and she will explain the Wreaths Across America, which honors our deceased veterans during the holiday seasons.
And good morning, board and
Morning.
employees and the public. I am here today. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. I am here today representing the Graham County Citizens Alliance, which was formed to be able to handle the directives from Wreaths Across America. We did this so that no single entity in this county would be saying, well, this is our program and this is the way we're going to do it. So we did a collective of all the people that wanted to participate and formed a new organization. We are now in our 5th year. We've been incorporated for 4, and that has helped us be able to get more money by being incorporated. People tend to donate then to a nonprofit. So I'm actually here today because we utilize tax dollars. And the board can't tell you what the tax dollars have been used for if they aren't informed. So I'm here to inform you today.
Thank you.
And we work every year. It's an all-year program. I have given each one of you a sheet so that you know exactly what it entails. This program allows us to get a wreath that is made from live balsam cuttings in Maine, where the organization was founded. And these wreaths are $17 a piece. So we get them for $17, and then they give us a $5 discount towards the next one. So we get $17 for one, $12 for the next. So that's how we figure out how many we're going to do. We have a count of the cemeteries. We deal with 15 cemeteries and 1 on the mountain. That is a special one that is taken up there, by some individuals. So these had to be approved. And so each year we have to go through and have them approved. But we wanted you to know when you donate $500, it gets 17 wreaths at $17, 17 wreaths at $12. So it's $493 go towards wreaths right then. So you have a few dollars left over. When we have those few dollars, we combine them with a donation to get more. So the money is just not sitting out there someplace, it's combined every year. So every year that we get money, we use every bit of it. And if we're short at the end, where we have money that we have like $5 or $7 where we could get another wreath, then we take money from our own account and put towards it. So we accept donations all year long towards us. We do have volunteers. Last year we had 45, which is really spectacular with 15 cemeteries. And we had the Boys and Girl Scouts and the missionaries and the Legion family members, DAR, Lions, and community members. So each year we're getting more people involved, which is really great. We would like you to know that your $500 donation last year was utilized to cover Ashurst, which has 20. So we did that, and then the 14 that were left over, we put at Graham. So these donations come from the governments, businesses, organizations, and individuals. And we had one individual last year who donated $1,000. He said he was so impressed that we actually did something that he felt he needed to reach out and give us a lot of money. So that was very incredible of him. So we got about $19,000 last year, but we're still short. And every cemetery had wreaths on it, but we were short on 7. So each year we're getting closer. Each year we get more involved, we get more donations. And I would like to say Darlene is one of our donators. She makes sure that she gets money in for some of her relatives who are veterans. And we thank you for that. So far, we have $1,190 that we've already pre-purchased wreaths for this coming year. That money came in late. It's after the deadline for last year. So rather than sit on the money when they said they had a pre-sale, which would give us more wreaths for the amount of money that we paid, we immediately ordered so that we would have extra wreaths this year. And that's how we work our program. We try to work it all year long. We ask for donations. We're willing to come and talk about it. For those of you who don't know, it was started in 1972 by a gentleman in Maine who has a tree farm. And he had so much left over that he decided he wanted to go to Arlington. So he started in the oldest part of Arlington and started putting them on. Of course, he didn't have enough. So each year, he's like, we have started. Each year, he added more and more and more. So now it's nationwide. And we are very proud to be part of that. We are asking again for a contribution this year. We would like you to increase it if you can. We know how money is hard to come by. But if you could increase it, we would appreciate it, and we will use it to cover more on the Graham County cemeteries. Is there anybody that has any questions?
I do. Can you, as an individual, you mentioned Darlene has donated. As an individual, if you donate, can you specify where you want your wreaths to go?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, we had a lady last year who had, her husband was in Mesa. And so we ordered it. It came in. I contacted a lady I know in Mesa, and I said, hey, will you place it? And she said, sure. So I shipped it to her, and she placed it.
Thank you.
So you can order them from us. You can order them through us, which gives us credit towards another one. And we can have it verified and shipped to that place and actually placed for you.
Thank you.
And we do take all donations under the Graham County Citizens Alliance. We have an account here. We can immediately put it in the bank so that your check clears right away. If it's made out to Wreaths Across America, we have to make out a bunch of paperwork and mail it. So we have no guarantee it gets there. So we have to wait for weeks to know that it has been processed that way. If we do it through the bank, we can order online and we know right away it's been processed.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Kat, for dignifying the service of the people who have died in the cause of freedom and who have served and then passed away. Thank you. And we we did donate through our community-based organization we have for the last couple of years, and we'll certainly consider that. We have the funding available if you'll contact either Julie Rodriguez or Dustin and request that letter. We just barely approved our budget, so we do have, I believe, $500 set aside for you this year, and we will certainly consider increasing at your request. But thank you for being here and for your work. Very good. Appreciate that. Next, we have an opportunity to share a brief summary of current events, things that we've participated in over the last 2 weeks, notably the election, which we'll get a brief update from our county manager. We'll start with him and then go with our Vice Chair, Howard, and Supervisor Mack, and I'll wrap up if there's time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. And yeah, I'll start with elections. Our primary election went well. It's a long day. It starts at 6 a.m. opening the polls, and polls close at 7. But the day is more like 4:30 to 10 or 11. So it's a long day for us, but it's always very satisfying to get our election results in. And just want to thank Hannah and her team. We were the first ones to report on election night. And we were also the first ones to get in our sample hand count just a couple days later. So things went well. We had a couple hiccups right at 6 a.m., but we were well positioned. We had a staff member at every single poll location right when the polls opened, and we worked through some minor issues that morning, and the rest of the day went very smoothly. So I just want to thank the Army of volunteers. Not volunteers, I guess they are paid, but they are almost volunteers that help with our elections. It takes a lot to hire all of those individuals for one day and train them and teach them everything they need to know about elections in a couple hours. So it was a great day, and I thank the board for your support, and we look forward to the November election, which will be a little more heightened for sure. We didn't have great voter turnout. We had 23%, if I remember right. Statewide was 26%. So we're even a little under the statewide turnout, but primary election on a non-presidential year is usually the lowest turnout election. So we hope to see more people show up for the general election. And again, we're grateful for the help and support that we receive from the community. And we were, just for those that weren't here at the meeting last week, we did canvass those election results last Wednesday and finalize those. Just a couple projects we have going on out at the fairgrounds. We finished deepening our pond and also lining it. A huge thank you to Trey and his use of his personal boat. He had 2 5-gallon buckets and a little shovel that he may have taken from his son, and rode around that pond for the better part of 3 days, shoveling in a compound called soil flock that has a chemical reaction and then sinks to the bottom of the pond and seals it. So I don't know how many tons, but literally tons out of 2 5-gallon buckets, and Trey and his little shovel. So thank you, Trey. I should have taken a picture. But it was a huge effort, and we're super grateful. That has been a project that we've been talking about before I've even been working here. So we've deepened that pond. We've relined it with clay and now relined it with flock sealer. So we are confident that our pond is well sealed. We'll still obviously we'll still experience evaporation off our ponds, but eliminating that second pond as part of the next phase of our projects will also help considerably with conserving our reclaimed water that goes up there. Also part of our next fairgrounds phase is our community development block grant project. We've been pouring sidewalks all around the pond. Eric Engel is managing that project, and they're moving very quickly. They're almost all the way done. They may be done with the upper pond at this point, and They're doing the sidewalks in that new park area between the upper and lower pond, and we'll be steadily moving south on our middle area by our playground, and then eventually at the lower ramadas too. And that also includes ADA parking spots all along the way as those new sidewalks connect into the parking lots. That contractor, KE&G, they're doing a really good job. They do good with their sidewalks. We've started our courthouse improvement RFQ, request for qualifications, that I shared with the board and the court employees late last week, and we'll talk about that more in our work session where we go from there. We also have a work session later with the Chamber of Commerce to talk about promotion agreement with the Chamber to help us promote our 100-year fair. There has been a lot going on with that preparation, and we'll look forward to Trey's update on that in our work session. Just one thing that'll be coming up, our plan and zoning has been working on adopting new building codes. Those building codes have gone to the Plan and Zoning Commission. I believe Supervisor Mack was in there for that meeting, was able to be part of that. Those were approved by the commission, and we're working on creating the ordinance that would officially adopt those with the Board of Supervisors. Also going on at the fairgrounds, like always, our fields never get rest, and they're being turned over from Little League now over to AYSO. And I just wanted to note on there, if you look at some of the fields around Graham County, it's really hard to keep our fields in good shape when they're used 365 days a year. But the fields at the fairgrounds look really good, and we don't have a lot of the typical dirt spots that never get rest, and our guys just do a really good job. If you look at them, they're fully covered in grass, and rather than turning them over to AYSO after Little League being torn up, they're actually in really good shape. So just want to commend Trey and his staff. They do a really good job maintaining our fields. They've also been working on the grandstands, getting those ready for the fair. We'll be using those probably more than we usually do. Trey is bringing in some monster trucks for the fair that we're excited about, and we'll be using those grandstands to watch the monster trucks this year. With the highway yard, they've been diligently going through and cleaning out all our culverts and drainages around the county. The way we've been hit with rain has been really sporadic, really hard in some areas, not as bad in others. The one place we are getting a lot of rain is on the other side of the mountain in Bonita. And I know Supervisor Max had some calls over there, and we are working on it, but we've had a lot of our bar ditches just blown out, and we've been hauling in dirt to repair those and fix those, and it's just been kind of endless. It's just been getting a lot of rain over there. We wish it would come over on this side of the mountain and we could take some of it from them. We've also been finishing up our paint striping throughout the county, and just a couple other things. A big accomplishment last week is Eric Engel was able to submit our big grant to state parks. It was a $4 million grant and asked for $2 million with a match of $2 million for our action park at the fairgrounds. So it'll take a while. The state will work with us for about a month, making sure we have everything right, and then they will submit for us to the federal government who has those funds. Also wanted to report on Tallywash that the Tallywash Bridge has been moving really well. We had some hard rains hit the Gila Mountains about a week and a half ago, and Tallywash ran pretty good, about 3 feet. We had about 2 to 3 feet of sand built up underneath in those culverts that we had to clean out and rebuild that road a little bit, but luckily we were far enough along in that project, didn't really slow us down. Another and having to do some dewatering for the grouted riprap that they're trying to place. But we were told that that project is about 4 to 5 weeks away, so we're anxious to see that project complete well ahead of schedule. Just lastly, in planning and zoning, we'll talk more, but we have 4 zoning cases that are coming up that'll come to the board soon. And I also wanted to report on our trailer. We purchased a dump trailer. We kind of copied Thatcher and Safford. They've been both doing this for a while, and these tough cleanup cases and zoning violations, we've been able to utilize that trailer, and people have basically marked it out on the calendar. We go and park it, and they fill it up on their own with the trash and the blight on their property, and then we go and dump it. And it has been used constantly and almost on a daily basis. We're dumping that. So it's been very successful, and we're making some good strides. And in our next meeting, we're going to bring some before and after pictures to show the board some of the progress we've been able to make. And that's my report for now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, pretty busy last couple of weeks. We had the opportunity to meet with the Forest Service on our quarterly meeting and get updates on different things. It's always interesting to see how they go. And then on the 22nd, I met with the WIFA director in this area with the city of Safford on different WIFA fundings throughout the state and what's eligible and what's not. Then on the 22nd, Dustin and I both was down at the college, had a really good meeting with the college and the Chamber of Commerce, very informative and how things are done down there, explained a lot of stuff. And on the 23rd, I had the opportunity to welcome all the cattlemen for the Arizona Cattlemen's Association at their annual convention down in Thatcher, which was very much attended. A lot of our hotels filled up from that event. A lot of good information was distributed through the meetings. Then on the same day, I really had an interesting, I guess you'd call it event or whatever you want to say. They came down and did a documentary at my house on my relationship with Justin Gaethje and how I was, and it will be showed on PBS channel here. I don't know when, but it was pretty neat to do that. The same night, I attended the rural pitch at the college for all these new businesses coming in, and also was a witness of the United Way check to them. Then on the 29th, of course, I want to give a shout out to our canvassing, and a special thanks to our election. I have already done that in that meeting, but I just want to thank our election, how smooth it ran, and also we failed to mention the volunteer work of Brian and Colin down at the reservation, and they sacrificed and went down there, and they put a long day in and volunteered down at the Bila Center. So appreciate that. So that'll be all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have a lot to add. Took my family on vacation for a week, so mine's going to be kind of short, but I too attended the opening for the Arizona Cattle Growers Association and appreciate them bringing their organization to the Gila Valley, and also attended the BLM and Forest Service work sessions, and that's really all I have.
Thank you for your activities and your efforts. I was also, you didn't see me, but I was at the Cattle Growers Association meeting. I had a 7 a.m. meeting with the Coalition of Arizona and New Mexico counties, and I chaired that meeting and helped to host that. And we talked about a number of issues, the new BLM grazing rules, and some of the changes in the Endangered Species Act wording that will, I believe, they've removed the definition or the criteria of harm. So now it's just basically injury or actual the take or killing of that, and the adjacent structures and things like that are no longer considered, and so that will help our things like the Camp Columbine on the mountain and the permitting for the cabin owners and things like that. and other areas that have impacts on both BLM and Forest Service lands for ranchers. They'll be able to have a lot more projects, get their projects approved because they no longer have to show that they won't harm, that their impacts won't harm endangered species. Attended a SEGO economic development meeting along with Dustin, and we discussed different projects for not only Graham County, but we also had Safford. Thatcher wasn't there, but we discussed some Thatcher and Pima, discussed projects which could be eligible for federal grants and funding, and created a list, and that was a really good thing. There was a community coordination meeting that I attended, a rural transportation advisory committee meeting, attended telephonically, and then the local committee to end homelessness meetings that I worked with and had an interview regarding a 12-unit low-income housing project that is coming to the valley. And then I spent some time on election night and was most impressed. Quick, everything from Mark Smith delivering the Bonita election results and other people who drove in. It was great, a great effort and great collaboration. I don't think that McCoy Hawkins was mentioned in all the accolades, and then Polly, but it was a great team that our election director Hannah has put together, and we are very grateful and blessed. That's my report. And so we'll go into a public hearing. We'll invite our planning and zoning director up to discuss the approval or disapproval of a name request.
Thank you. Just have the one today. There was a road name request by Levi Donaldson. The proposed name is Harvest Lane. It's off Central Road. It's north of Central Road and east end of it. It's 105-48088. Anyways, there's already one site-built house out there, and he and one other neighbor are looking to start building. So it's in line with everything else out there. You want the parcel number? Anyway. And there was, notices were sent out. There was no comment on the name from anybody in the area on that one.
And I saw 3 people had signed onto supporting that the naming of that road. It's not a name change, the naming of the road.
It's a new road.
Good.
There you go. No. Yeah. Shoot, no, I can't see. Oh, yeah. Right there. It's going across. It's running east to west through there.
Anybody? Public?
Very good. Any
Oh, yeah.
any support or people opposed to the naming of that road, either online or here in our hearing? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move to discussion and deliberation. I would note in the packet the information that this was needed, and it's actually Mr. Donaldson, I believe. He didn't have to come in and request it. This is something he's proactively done. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's trying to keep ahead of it. They're looking to build soon.
Sure.
And with already one house out there, he came in and talked to us, and so he was being proactive of getting out there on this one and
That's
getting
great.
ahead of it.
Because I note that everything from delivery to first responders it's important to have a road name if you got someone there that certainly, and then on our GPS systems or GIS systems, that certainly is a benefit, and so appreciate him bearing the cost and coming in ahead of time and of when he would have to, and doing this. It's a benefit to the public. Appreciate that.
No other discussion? I'll go ahead and make a motion to change the road name, or create a road name of Harvest Lane for situs address in north of West Central Road.
Thank you, supervisors, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that's approved. Thank you, Darren. Okay, call to the public. If anyone would like to comment on our make any comments on things that they're concerned about, seeing and hearing none, then we'll move to adjournment. We have a work session in a few minutes. We welcome the members of the County Supervisors Association who have traveled here. We don't know if they came last night or traveled this morning, but they're here. Zoe, Vanessa, thank you so much for your travel here, and that was an early drive. And Jacob, yes.
Don't forget Jacob.
And we received our executive director is having shoulder surgery, so we'll send our best to Craig, and we'll see.